start over, the power of failure. I'm Noelle Randall, real estate millionaire, entrepreneur, and mentor. And in today's interview style episode, I am meeting with 𝗡𝗥𝗍𝗹𝗹𝗍. He is a former NFL pro football player. He has his own podcast called The Shark Effect, and he is a successful entrepreneur who is making his way. He's going to share with us today how he did it and how you can do it too. Let's go.
Noelle. Yeah, she can fix that. If you gotta get it done, or you need to do it better, well, she can fix that. Yeah, she can fix that. Investment to get back, trying to get a big stack. She can fix that. Let's fix that.
Welcome, 𝗡𝗥𝗍𝗹𝗹𝗍 of the Shark Effect podcast. I am so excited to have you here today. Obviously, former NFL player, business coach, entrepreneur extraordinaire. We are going to get right into it in this interview because you have some amazing things to share about your story. And I feel like there's just so much that one could learn. So we're just going to jump right into it. And you're going to tell people, how do you start the successful thing from failure? Like, how do you become a successful entrepreneur starting from failure?
You know, well, I'm going to tell people that if you're, looking to get a whole bunch of football stories and whatnot, this is not the place. This is not the place. I'm not, it was something that I did. It was a dream job playing in the NFL, being drafted in the first round. It was a dream job. But, there were some hiccups on the way there in terms of what I did became who I was. And then when that job was taken from me, then, when you start to just put your mind into your ability and your platform, when that stuff is taken away from you, you often get lost. You don't know who you are. And so I went through that. But going through that process, it helped me kind of really dig in deep and really pick up some golden nuggets that I learned from a former coach of mine. And, love to kind of share that a little bit later.
Okay. And this is what I love it. And so we're going to get right into it. Because like I said, you and I, where I was immediately excited and to interview you and speak with you and bring this to my audience because I started from failure. I tell everybody, like when they say, when did you start in real estate investing? I said, from my parents' basement, broke, bankrupt, multiple foreclosures, like the worst situation possible is when I started investing in real estate. And I feel like that's how so many powerful people's how their story starts. So just give us a quick background and share with us your story because that's what we're going to be going in today. And I want the audience to understand where you're coming from.
I guess it's on the opposite side of the spectrum, meaning, playing football in college and then having that opportunity to play professionally. And, where I was drafted at, I became a millionaire just like that. Yeah. Right. And then living that dream life, doing some of the things, on the field and then all the fame, the popularity that comes off of it. But like I said before, once I was done, I was like, okay, this is, I'm retired. I'm 32, got a beautiful family, got millions in the bank, cars, homes, all that, multiple homes. Right. Yeah. But I was not fulfilled. There was something that was missing. And as I was like, man, this can't be. I thought this was how I wanted it to be. I get to play golf, I work out, I spend time with the kids, take them to school, spending time in the classroom. But this doesn't feel right. Yeah. And so I ended up, one of my neighbors, when we was living in San Diego, she was the CEO of this nonprofit. And she reached out to me on a walk one day. She said, hey, Alex, what are you doing now? I said, I'm nothing. I'm chilling.
Right. I'm rich.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So she was like, well, what would you think about, coming and working for me just part-time? I have a nonprofit, helps kids. And I was like, oh, that sounds all right. That sounds good. I've done some work in that area, when I was playing ball. Yeah. So I ended up doing that. I was a development consultant. She said, would you like to be a development consultant? I was like, cool. What's a development consultant? What do I do? So she talked about, writing grants, making phone calls, to help raise money for the nonprofit. And so I thought, okay, cool. And so I did that. I did that for 6 months. And then this was right around 2007. and we was in San Diego at the housing market, starting to hear some things. And we end up jumping ship from Cali, and we moved up here to Portland, Oregon. So my wife is from here. So we moved up here.
And you went to college in Oregon too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So came up here and, got a house, and we was chilling again. Once again, I was like, man, I'm not doing anything. I need to find a little bit more. And so, I get on the internet, start looking for different jobs and whatnot, because I didn't know anything about entrepreneurship. I didn't, So found a job that was kind of like the same thing I was doing at a nonprofit, but it was full time, and you were a manager, director.
Nice.
And I was like, okay, this is me. I got this. Let me fill out my information. Got an interview, and so me, I'm thinking, I'm a former professional athlete, went to University of Oregon, well-spoken. I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna kill it. They got to give me this job.
That's right.
And went in there, had my little, my little suit jacket, the little shiny shoes, shiny belt. And I go in there, I'm gonna kill this interview.
Right.
And I went in there and I had the interview with this young lady. She was a little bit older, in her 50s, Mrs. Tulane. And I sat down with her, and she started asking me questions, right? She started asking me questions about the organization, and I did some homework about it.
Okay.
And she started asking me questions about me. Like, what was my passion? What did I enjoy doing? What am I put on this earth to do?
What was your answer? That's a good one.
I didn't have an answer.
Ooh.
I didn't have an answer. So she asked me these deep questions that I've never asked myself.
Yeah.
And like 15 minutes into the interview, she says, Alex, I'm gonna stop you right there. She said, before you go on any more job interviews, well, first, you're not gonna get this job.
Wow.
And
just blunt.
Before you, be blunt. She was an older black lady.
Right,
she was blunt.
To the point.
You're not gonna get this job. He said, but can I give you some advice? And at this time, I'm in my feelings, all right? I've been told no before, all right? I've been told no before. And she said, let me give you some advice. Before you go on any more job interviews, sweetie, you need to find out exactly who you are. She got up, she walked me to the front door and said, good luck.
Wow.
And I've been cut before. You know what I'm saying?
Alex,
like when you're in the NFL.
Whoa, that's a terrible way to end an interview.
Let me tell you something. I've been cut before.
Pretty bad way to end an interview.
I know. I've been fired from the NFL from different teams. I've been cut, let go, release, whatever jargon you want to put on that. But it's happened to me in my 8 years in the NFL. And it's embarrassing. Let me tell you. When you go to the GM, they tell you you're no longer wanted. They have security walk you down to the locker room. They give you a black plastic bag to bag up all your stuff, from your locker. And then security walks you out of the facilities. It's embarrassing.
Oh yeah.
I'd much rather have that happen to me 10 times than to ever go through that feeling I had in that particular moment with Mrs. Tulane. I walked to my car and I cried my eyes out.
Oof.
I've never cried like that before. Like weeping, that was me. For about 15 minutes, I sat there in the parking lot and cried my eyes out. And after I finished, right, I finished crying, and I'm banging, I'm telling you, I'm banging my hands on the steering wheel. And it was a nice ride. Now let me tell you something. It was a nice whip. It was a nice whip. But at that moment, that stuff didn't matter.
Right.
How much money I had in the bank.
Right.
All the things that I've done in the past, all the plaques and the hype, that did not matter. And that forced me down the road of finding out who I was. And from there, it took me, about 6 months to a year to start to look like, hey, how do I figure this out? And so I had to go back to my world of football. And one of the things that I learned from a coach of mine, name is Coach Willie Shaw. And
Okay, I
he's
remember Coach Willie
Coach
Shaw.
Coach Willie Shaw. He told me, he said, hey, in my second year in the NFL, he said, Alex, I was first round draft pick, everything is all the hype, all that stuff. I'm fast, I'm quick, and I'm like, and I'm young. And I'm thinking I'm going to just have a fabulous career. But truth be told, the game was really fast. It was really fast. It took me a while to kind of adjust. And he said, hey, he's a young fella. You want to play a long time in this league? And I was like, yeah. You want to have success? Yes, sir. He said, okay, you got to master these 3 things. And, by then I'm like, if I had a book in my hand, I was notepad, I was, wide-eyed, And he said, you need to master alignment, assignment, and adjustment.
Oh, powerful. Okay, so let's talk about that, Alex, because you just said like just a wealth of knowledge, like even just sharing your story. First of all, thank you so much, because I feel like so many people, and I relate so much, because of course, I feel like I've had moments like that too. So let's talk about assignment, alignment, and adjustment, because that's powerful. But let's get into that for a second. What does that mean?
Well, I would tell you like what I learned on the field, and then it took me a while to kind of figure, okay, I can put this into my life. I just got to take it from one environment and put it in the other, because that's a success blueprint.
Yeah.
So alignment in football, you have to be aligned correctly every snap.
That's true.
There's different plays, there's different coverages on the defense. I play defensive back.
Okay.
So depending on what the offense has, you have to be aligned correctly. That means you need to know your job.
Right.
So I was like, okay, you got to align correctly. He said, yeah, every snap, Alex, every play, you have to align correctly so you don't shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to be aligned. Okay. And
Okay.
then assignment, you have to know your job. You need to know your role. And then to really be good, you need to know the roles of others on your team. So everybody on the defense, you need to know their job. Okay, so I need to spend some more time in the playbook, not just looking at my job, my responsibilities, but everybody else. He said, yeah, so you can be able to hold people accountable and they can hold you accountable.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, and then adjustment. Alex, you have to be ready to adjust every snap. You need to be looking ahead to be taking care of the what ifs. Very rarely does a team just line up and snap the ball. They line up, they shift, they switch motions, they motion guys around, they call audibles. You need to be ready ahead of the count. Okay, got that. So I mastered that in 7 out of my 8 years in the NFL. So now I pulled those things and I looked at my life. I said, well, my alignment, if I really break it down, how do I align myself with what's my foundation? And when I really looked at it, so foundation, for those people out there listening, what's important to you? What's most important to you? Is it your family? Is it your career? Is it your hobbies? Is it your faith?
Yeah.
And there's no right or wrong answer. You just need to be able to put things on whatever your foundation, that if something fails or falls off, you will still be okay.
Yeah.
I think you're starting to see where I'm going with it.
I do. And here's a great point you're saying, Alex. You're saying so many awesome things. So you're this amazing, former football player, awesome dad of 8. And, Miss Tulane is now kind of shot you down. And now you're going back, though, to your training, your assignment, your alignment, and your adjustment. So in that moment, after you had that kind of defeat where you didn't get this awesome job, you're this amazing person, but you don't get this awesome job. And so now you have to go back to some of your training. How did you connect some of that previous training, with your coach, Willie Shaw, to now this new situation where you're like needing to find yourself and create this new thing for you?
I'm going to tell you what, I believe in shortcuts.
Okay.
I believe in shortcuts. So what I did is, I know I would not have had the success as an athlete in high school, college, and the pros without a coach.
Yeah, that's right.
And so I ended up getting me a personal development coach.
And you just went right and did it. Well, you know what? Tell me what, okay. Like, come on. We're going to be honest. Noel Rand, we tell the truth, Alex. Did you just get out of that car and stop, wipe them tears and then go get you a business coach? Come on, man. We talking now. What happened?
It took me over a decade.
Okay.
It took me over a decade trying to figure out what this, how does this look? And I finally got one, and man, it just really narrowed things down, and it really started to, I started to look at my life. Okay, what did I align myself with? Because for the most part, it was my career, then my family, then my faith.
Yeah.
But then once I look back and I start, okay, what actions do it? If I really want to, if something is taken away from me, how am I going to still be okay? How am I still manage to live and pursue my dreams and everything? Well, it needs to be my faith.
Yeah.
I switched things around, and I got aligned with my faith, then my family, and then my career, and then everything took off for me. I started to speak. I started to actually coach, and for personal development. And I have a podcast now. Never in a million years of thought, especially during the pandemic, and also during the pandemic, I wrote a book.
Awesome, right? Because what else are we gonna do?
But I got aligned, and I need to find what my assignment is. Right on the football field, it was like knowing my job, my role. Well, I need to find out who I am, and so that means I need to understand what influence is, because I need to be influential for myself. I need to see how I'm being influenced by others. I also need to take accountability. And so once I did that, I no longer looked at any situation in my life as a negative.
Yeah.
And when I started looking at what Mrs. Tulane did for me, there's no way on God's green earth I would be sitting here talking to you right now if she didn't have that
courage
conversation. Yes.
Yeah, and the courage to say that to you, because I wouldn't have said that to you.
Right? I mean,
so that did take courage on her part. Yes.
Talking to a former professional athlete that that had a platform. She didn't care. That stuff don't matter. Right. And really, when I'm speaking to my coaching clients, and most of them are athletes, former athletes, we feel entitled. When we have success in any area, there's a sense of entitlement. She stripped that down. She didn't care about that. And she told me those things. And I started looking back in my life where, because of, my being successful on the football field, there was so many times in my life that people gave me a pass in my character. Things I wasn't, I was being a jerk. I was being, that athlete, they didn't hold me accountable. And so, and I also look at things, the injuries that I had. I have a scar about that long on my knee. I've had 5 surgeries, 2 on my knees, 2 on my ankles. And I have 2 screws in my knee. Without that, honest to goodness, without that, once again, I don't think I'll be sitting here talking with you. This was one of the best things that ever happened to me. I'm pointing at my knee right now. But one of the best things that ever happened to me. So I started to look at my life and take accountability for it, and really understand what leadership is. Leadership is influence. And so how I want to influence my wife, my kids, and how I go in any environment, I really think we need to understand it. We need to own it. And a lot of people, from me on the outside listening, I listen and I watch people, and then you ask them a simple question, what is leadership? And it's so big, but when things are big, you got to boil it down. You know this, right? You got to boil it down.
That's right.
So I started to understand that. And then the adjustment aspect, what adjustments did I need to make? First, I need to find out where I want to go. All right. I want to have success off the football field. I want to find out what gave me joy. I love talking to people. I love interacting with people, and I love making them better. So I used to be a trainer. I was a Nike master trainer for 13 years. Nice. And I love being able to help people, athletes, be the best version of themselves. On the, in the sport and fitness. I love that. It gave me great joy. Noel, what gives me even greater joy now is helping people become the best versions of themselves, regardless.
amazing point that Alex just made about coaching and personal development. Let me share something with you. Noelle Randall used to live in her parents' basement. I was broke, I was bankrupt, and I had multiple foreclosures. But it was a coach that got me out of my situation, where I started making more money, became a real estate entrepreneur, and now a real estate millionaire. So personal development and coaching may not seem like something that's very important or the way to bounce back when you're falling down or if you're in failure, but it is so important and is a part of most people's success story. A personal development coach can really help you get yourself to the next level. They can help you point out things that you're doing wrong. They can give you some new habits. They can also be great encouragement and support for you while you are trying to overcome your failure. Additionally, personal development coaches and coaches that teach you things are dedicated to you. They're not usually talking on the phone or in Starbucks. They are dedicated to you when they are coaching and talking to you. Having someone on your team that is for you and about your development is exactly what most people need to get to the next level a lot faster. Now, back to this great interview. I'm just like, yes, yes, yes. I'm exploding with excitement because you're saying so many powerful things that I relate to so much. So it's funny, now that I've kind of grown successful and, the real estate and helping portfolios, I too have a lot of former athletes that I'm helping, build their portfolios and help them get rental properties just so they're financially stable and they have their physical assets as well. And so it's so funny that you mentioned that, some of the habits that need to be broken as we grow. And you touched on it really quickly, but I feel like you could really elaborate on, the difference with some of these athletes that have had this early on success, okay? Because now I've experienced this firsthand. So this is a great, pivot to our conversation, where they started with all of this success. They were just young, successful, rich, and now they have to transition to something else. This is the life after it. And yes, they still have some money and they want to create a new life for themselves, but they do have some of those habits from being an athlete and some of that entitlement and just some of those attitudes. So as you at work as a personal development coach, and now you're doing, you've created this new thing for yourself, talk about some of your experience and how you get former athletes that experience this amazing success so early on, how to become the new versions of themselves and start to find what it is that they want to do and their worth and their value and all of that.
Number one, it starts with where you want to go.
Yeah.
All right. And that's tough, right? It sounds easy, but that's tough figuring out what you want to do, especially as an athlete. No matter if you just finished in college or if you finished pro whatever sport.
Yeah, you're still so young. You're like you said, you were done at 32. I have these young 30s. I'm not even that old. I'm just, turning 40. I'm way older than them and they're done with their careers. So you're right. Like keep going. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. No, so it's just figure out what do they want to achieve?
Yeah, what do you want to achieve in your life?
Yeah, and here's the cool thing about athletes, no matter high school, college, pro, whatever, is they have a blueprint. They have something within them that's already built because of the discipline that it takes to have any type of success. And really, it doesn't matter if you play sports or not. Noelle, that to have any type of success, it takes discipline.
Right.
It takes sacrifice. It takes practice.
That's right.
And so what I do and what I suggest is when you want to have success, understanding who you are and understanding the power of influence. What I mean by that is leadership, right? Leadership, when you really boil it down, is influence. Okay, well, how do I want to influence people? All right. How do I want to influence people? And you can influence people by relationships, the relationships that you have with them, the relationships that they might have with others. But you got to have a great relationship with yourself, number one.
Yeah.
All right. How you communicate is a huge influencer. Okay. Your knowledge, right? Your experience, your success, also your failure. Yeah. Your failure can help influence people. Here's the thing though. You have to own it. You have to own the failure. When I look back at my life, and I used to blame the guy who did this to me. I'm pointing at my knee right now. I used to blame him. I was like, it's his fault. It's his fault. But when I step back and I look at the film, that was my fault. I skipped a procedure. I didn't have
Ooh,
my eyes in the right spot.
right.
I didn't have my eyes in the right spot. And I tell the story in my book, The Ultimate
Mm-hmm.
Playbook for High Achievers. I talk about this, but I
Mm-hmm.
skipped a procedure that I was supposed to do, that I was taught by a coach. All right.
Right.
My eyes watches the running back, and then my eyes go to the receiver, and I defeat the block, and then I try to make the play. Well, I just had success right before the play that just happened. I scored a
Mm-hmm.
touchdown as a freshman on
Wow.
national TV. On
What?
national
We're
TV.
gonna put a clip of
Noel,
that. We're gonna insert a
Noel,
clip of that, Alex. We're gonna
no,
find that clip. We're gonna insert that. By the time this come out, they're gonna be watching the clip.
you got to do some research there. Noel, I
Don't give
had
me a
success.
challenge.
You could not tell me anything after 19 years old in a bowl game on national TV. I
That's
scored a
right.
touchdown. You
That's
can't tell me
big.
nothing,
You're right.
right?
You wouldn't be able to tell me nothing either.
Right.
I never did
So,
that.
but that success blinded me to
Mm,
the procedures that I was supposed to be going through. And I
right.
paid this price,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So failure, when you own your failure, it can be a valuable tool to people following you or
Yeah.
you influencing others.
Whoa, that is an amazing point that Alex Molden just made. It is easy to see why he was so successful in his NFL career. You have to own your failures. That is a great point. In order to inspire other people with your failures and really do something with your failure, you must be able to own it and share it with other people. If you don't feel like you can share your failure or you want to hide it or act like it didn't happen, then you're not going to be able to inspire others and really become the person that you want to be. If you aspire to get to that next level and really become a person of influence, a person that inspires other people, you have to share your failures. So let me be clear. That is exactly why I share with you my real story. That's why I tell you, I used to live in my parents' basement. I was bankrupt. I was foreclosed on. I had multiple foreclosures on my credit, and I had terrible credit, and I became a real estate investor. I share this with you not only to inspire you, but also to let you know that you can overcome obstacles. You can start from a really low place and make it to success. Again, sharing your story not only lets you inspire people, it also helps you to connect with other people. It is one of the reasons I became so successful in real estate. I was able to share my real story of foreclosure, how I lost my properties, and how I ended up bankrupt. I was able to get deals and connect with people that were in the exact same situation as me. It not only helped connect with them, but it also helped me get deals that I would not have otherwise gotten. So telling people about your failures and then becoming successful is an amazing thing to share with people because it will help you and help them. Now let's get back to this interview.
Now, there's a host of other influencers, but I'm going to tell you the most powerful one.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you two of them. All right.
Okay.
For me, and back in the day, I didn't care what type of character you had. Noel, I didn't. It was, for me, it was like, are you cool? Do you have a platform, right? If
Yeah.
you're pretty or whatnot,
Yeah.
and
Right.
can you talk?
Yeah.
Can you talk? I was influenced by that.
Yeah.
I didn't care, man. You could have been, the worst person on earth. That didn't matter to
Right.
me when I was 18, 19 years
Right.
old. Now I'm 47. That's number one for me. I look at character, who you are. When you boil down character, it's who you are.
Powerful,
Right?
Alex.
It's powerful, right? And
Yeah.
because of this, and getting on these social media platforms,
Mm-hmm.
I can be able to, in any environment,
Yeah.
I can be able to look and see, get a little glimpse of who you are.
Yeah.
I can get a little glimpse and find out what type of guy is trying to date my 17-year-old daughter.
That's
Hello,
right. Yes.
right? And then I ask her, because she knows what leadership is. We have these
Yeah.
talks, a lot.
Yeah.
And so I just say, hey, is that who you want to be linked up with?
Yeah.
Is he showing the type of character? Because if you are, anything he does, they can be like, oh yeah, that's Alana's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Right.
I
But
love it.
here's the most powerful influencer though.
Okay.
All right. It's intuition. And when you boil it down, is how you feel or how you make people feel. Now, it's so powerful that in the wrong hands, it can do bad things.
Yeah.
Pimps
Yeah.
use intuition to
That's
make
right.
young people, ladies, boy, whatever, sell their body, sell their body, right?
Yep.
Intuition, making them feel a certain way because their character doesn't match, right? Poor character, right? So I'm very understand, and when people try to sell, right? People trying to sell goods or trying to sell something, they use it. All you gotta do is watch commercials.
That's
Nike, you know, I've been in that world, that Nike world for 13 years. If you watch Nike commercials, they make you feel something.
Right.
They don't talk about all the technology, all the, you know, all that type of stuff.
Right.
They make you feel a certain way.
Yeah.
So intuition, I try to make now, but before I didn't care how you felt when you interacted with me. I was a professional football player. It was your pleasure to be in the same room with me.
Right.
Now I make it, you know, when I mess up, when I make mistakes, I try to make it right away. I want them to feel a certain way. I want people to smile when they leave me.
So I can see this transformation because let's talk about that for a second, because you got this personal development coach, and obviously you just come off as this awesomely transformed person, Alex. You know, it's amazing, your spirit, your voice, just the calmness and everything about, you know, the way you carry yourself is absolutely amazing. And so tell us some of the things that you learned and developed from your coach that you now coach, besides some of the things that you're teaching, because tell some of those things. It's incredible.
Number one, taking accountability for everything you've done in your life. Everything that's happened to you, you have to be accountable for it.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Because you can use it and you can shape it. Yeah, absolutely.
So true. So true.
All the failures.
It's yours. You own them, they're yours, but then you get to fix them too. You get to be the one that can fix them, and then you get to be powerful. You know what I mean? Once you kind of take that accountability, that responsibility, whatever we want to call it, it is so powerful. I don't think people realize how confident you become when you realize that you cause and solve all of your problems.
Look at that. So you need to say that one more time, Noelle. Cause, you can you cause and you can solve all of your issues, all of your problems.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So talk to us about this ultimate guide of the high achievers, because I know this is an amazing book, and I know it has all of these things in there. So talk to us about your new book.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. But it's something that I've been working on for the past year, and you know, being a speaker, you know, talking with different Fortune 500 companies, talking with different college sports programs, and seeing like development and leadership. I decided to just kind of put what I've been taught, what I've learned, the things that's happened in my life at different times, and I break it down and really, man, you can make better decisions once you find out and understand like the foundational level of leadership and influence. Yeah. All right. Once you own that, now you're more intentional. I didn't used to be like this. I'm very intentional about everything I do now. Every conversation, every email, every post I do, I try to strike up a feeling that I want my person that I'm communicating with to have. I want them to feel empowered. I want them, anybody who comes in contact with me, things that have happened in your life, especially the bad things, right? Those can be repurposed. Right. I'm a walking example.
That's right.
Okay. And not everything, if you don't have an understanding of who you are and the foundation, even when you have a ton of success, when I got drafted in the first round, millions of dollars came into my bank account. I had a dream car, a SL 500 white Mercedes Benz. Hello.
I
had and I had a white Beamer. I had you know what I'm saying? I had a house. I took care of my mom. I took care of my mom, took care of my twin brother, money, all that stuff. Yeah. And when I sat down on my bed, you know, I'm a rookie. I sat down, I'm like, man, this is it. I've made it. This is to the top. Yeah. About 1 minute in, I was like, this doesn't feel like I thought it would.
Speak, Alex, please, because here's another thing that we just have to touch on, because and I know we're going a little long here, but I just we have to touch on this. So obviously most people they don't realize what success is going to feel like, or money in the bank, or cars that they've asked for. And I think most people think that they're going to have a different feeling than what they actually have with that thing, because it is just a thing. It's just a material type of things that you're accumulating. So what are the feelings now that you know? Speak and tell people the truth. What does it really feel like, success versus material things?
Success for me is helping
Yeah.
others. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, like, if you look at people, successful people in whatever genre, whatever area, Lil Wayne,
Yeah.
one of the most
Yeah.
successful recording artists ever,
Yep.
he almost took his life.
Yep.
There's other, I can go on and on about this.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Right.
But success is not just about what you get. I think it's what you give.
Yeah.
Right. And being an entrepreneur, myself, and I know you as well, is I want people, I want them to grow.
Yeah.
I want them to be better parents. I want them to be better wives, better husbands, better daughters, better sons, better business people.
Yeah.
Right. And we all have it in us, but a lot of us, we don't want to look back. We don't want to look at our failures. The different relationships that we might have that is holding us back. We don't want to we don't want to have those tough conversations. But
I love it.
I help people, like, take the facts and feelings and separate them. Because a lot of us, we don't really know how to think. We know how to feel, and it gets kind of glued together. Like, how you feel is how you think. And that's why the prison system has a lot of people in prison, because they've made decisions based off how they feel.
So that was amazing and just so powerful. So tell people where they can reach you. What is next for Alex Moulden?
Thank you very much. I'm excited because my book is just launched. Go to my website. It's just alexmoulden.com, ALEXMOL. I'm sure you have it in your show notes, but alexmoulden.com. And it has my different programs. I have I have the book. I have my podcast, which is it's called The Shark Effect. And
yes, I absolutely love The Shark Effect, because so let's talk about The Shark Effect really quick. I'm sorry, because people have to get into this podcast. Tell us about The Shark Effect and where we can listen to it, what it's about.
Yeah, Shark Effect is on all platforms. And it's really, I have business owners, I have entertainers, I have athletes, professional athletes. I've had the winner of the show. It's a widely popular show. I didn't know about this, but it's called Lost, and it's on the History Channel. I have the winner of season 7. And so what I do is with my guests and myself, we talk about the different things that has come up in their life to give them or make them high achievers. Yeah. Like it doesn't matter what world they're in, but I'm interested in hearing what made them a high achiever. At what point was there a crossroad that you had to switch and you had to find your alignment? Right. And your assignment, and what adjustments you need to make in your character or your relationships or how you view the world. I want my listeners to find out like what that is. Yeah. And what's the common theme. So but that's on The Shark Effect. It's on all platforms. And like I said, if you just go to alexmoulden.com, it has all my, my book, my course, the podcast has all that on there. I try to keep it simple. Well, thank you so much, Alex. This has been amazing. I cannot wait to see you maybe in person when I'm out in Utah. We have some connected friends, some NFL former people, some former clients. I feel like we've connected, and so can't wait to connect and see you in the future. So that was an amazing interview, and I have something special. I have my own training that I've created that I'm going to give to you absolutely free. Go to noellsfreetraining.com. That's Noelle, Noelle with an S,
noelsfreetraining.com. I've created a course that will teach you how to invest in real estate using my exact formula with bad credit, no money, and using other people's money in some cases, but how I became the success that you see today just from my parents' basement using these same tactics. Go to noelsfreetraining.com today. I just want to make sure that you have all of the resources, all of the knowledge, and all of the tools that you need to be successful. This is Noel, to your success.